What's up, y'all? I'm Ethan.
And Jerry?
We're in Act of Impalement from Nashville, Tennessee. We were originally formed in 2012, and it was just me and my buddy from high school, Zach Ledbetter. But I got Jerry and Aaron Hortman about a year ago. We've had a couple other bassists, Court Reese and Jimmy Grogan. But yeah, as far as significance behind the name and everything goes, Zach and I, when it was just the two of us, were probably just really stoned. I think Zach came up with the name initially, and we were just hanging out, listening to Behared or some shit, and talking about Vlad the Impaler, so no real significance. It was just kind of what came to us at the time. Do you have the other...
Yeah. Insights on the creative process behind Infernal Ordinance.
I mostly wrote riffs on my own, although there were a good amount of riffs where like I would bring one to practice and we would kind of just jam and it would come out more or less spontaneously. Jimmy wrote Bog Body, and that was just something he was playing as he was warming up, and we're like, hey, no, keep playing that, and kind of riffed off of it. But yeah, generally come in with a riff and we would toy with it, or I would come in with a full song. And lyrics, I would just read something cool about history, or some war shit, or just not liking Christianity or something like that. Just wanted to be blasphemous. That's pretty much the source of all that and the themes there.
I think the cover art. Yeah, cover art.
Or did I skip the themes?
Well, I mean, yeah, you said the themes and emotions.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of the same, creative process and themes.
I guess it's kind of the same, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, cover art.
So the cover art is supposed to be more or less a physical representation of spiritual warfare, kind of a cross between demons coming out and killing soldiers in like a World War I battlefield. Seeing as a lot of it, lyrically is related to blasphemous stuff, and warfare just kind of seemed to fit. Originally we were trying to have some sort of homage to like Sepultura, Morbid Visions, or some of the early Morbid Angel demos with like the crucifixions on it, but ended up not coming through, and we got Sauron and shit, but we like Lord of the Rings and stuff anyway, so it kind of just worked out. And the guy who did the art is great, and we like the sketches anyway, so fuck yeah.
Caligari. Rich and Caligari records spin and how did it influence the album's production?
As far as production, Caligari did pay for the mastering, and I believe he also helped me decide some of the like order of the tracks, if I remember correctly. But other than that, the guy that recorded it, Shippy Pool, I've been going to that dude for 10 years, maybe a little bit more. He's recorded basically everything Act of Impalement's put out, and we recorded something with him, like basically all the recording I've ever been on outside of like a rehearsal with Jerry and I's old band, Vile Desecration. Like he did everything, so it was less Caligari, and he again, he paid for mastering and stuff like that, but production-wise, he kind of just let us do what we do which is actually pretty great. So.
And the layout for the.
Oh yeah. He did help with the layout as well, and made suggestions on like we're getting vinyl's not in yet, but he helped sway some of the opinion on getting like another color and things like that.
That's having a label deal crucial to today's music industry.
Having a label, I would say it is and it isn't. It depends on the scale. Doing things independently is very difficult. Like, I don't have any resources to print CDs or do tapes or anything like that.
Yeah, it just feels like you can only get so far.
Right.
You know.
I mean, you can always put shit out on Bandcamp and things like that, but unless you have some exclusive trending hashtag or something, pretty much just your friends are going to hear it. So distribution's a big, the big reason why I think labels are still important. Like, Caligari's got our latest record all over the place. Like, I know he's shipped some to France, China, I think, Peru. So I wouldn't have the connections to do anything like that at all. So it's important in that aspect, I would say for sure. But smaller labels can't really give you a lot of money for like touring or anything. So,
Yeah.
give and take. But I think that's not really how the music world works anymore anyway. It's mostly on the internet, and if they can get that in front of eyeballs and get clicks, that's all they're really needed for, and that's what it does. So.
When did you first start listening to death metal? What led you to become a fan of the genre?
First start listening to death metal. I guess it kind of depends on what you consider death metal. The first thing that really kind of led me down the path into death metal was hearing specifically Hell Awaits by Slayer, and of course like Possessed Seven Churches, and Sodom and the Sign of Evil, stuff like that. Whether or not that's death metal strictly speaking, you could debate that. But all those, I feel like, are essential for the creation of death metal. So, yeah, I was probably 14, 15.
Yeah, I would say 14 too. Slayer, same for me.
Yeah, and discovering fan of the genre, it felt like the natural progression. And, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense. It's like, why do I like cheeseburgers and shit? It's delicious. I don't know, it's just, it makes sense. It just kind of clicked pretty much first time I heard it, and I was just like, fuck yeah, that. I feel like if you have reasons to love something, then those reasons aren't, like, they can change. So, like, I just don't really question it.
Yeah, it just has to feel natural.
Yeah. If you could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be? That one I don't really have an answer for, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say that it kind of feels like labels are still pushing the old bands more than the new ones.
Oh, actually, yeah, along those lines, something that irritates me a lot is, like, tour packages. At least here in Nashville, you'll get a tour come through and there'll be like 4 bands on it already, so local bands can't jump on, and I mean those tours go everywhere, so it's just hard for smaller bands to get a leg up and start playing with shit they actually like, you kind of you have to
Yeah.
start way smaller. It's not like 89 or 90 when, like, I saw on that Cannibal Corpse documentary, like, their first shows with Dark Angel. Shit like that can't happen
Yeah.
anymore. And I think that's kind of detrimental, and I wish things like that would change.
Yeah, and it seems like, yeah, it's like every tour has like the same few openers that are just, yeah, like labeled or pushing to the same few bands always.
Yeah. Won't name any names, but we call them fast food death metal bands. Have you encountered any memorable epic fails during live performances? Not really.
Not in this band, at least. Yeah, I mean, even even really none.
Yeah, not epic fails. When I was 20, I got blackout drunk, and I don't remember playing a show at all. One time, I'm sure that was a fucking nightmare. But other than that,
Yeah, I mean, I would say Eric's bass breaking, but that's.
oh yeah, in an old band, our bassist would like snap a string. He would just throw down the bass and start doing vocals only, and it was cool. So who gives a fuck? We did get the sound cut on us once, but that was.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, that was pretty recently.
Yeah. But that wasn't the venue or the promoter. That was a certain touring band. But we won't get into that. English cunts.
You said music and movies.
That deeply impressed you? Not really movies. I don't really watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, same.
Kind of the antithesis of a lot of like the gore death metal freaks or whatever. I don't really give a fuck about horror movies.
Yeah. Me either.
I mean, I like war movies and like action movies, but nothing really new. Like I watched Commando the other day and like stuff like that, but nothing recent. As far as music goes, Oath of Cruelty, their album a few years ago in 2019, Summary Execution at Dawn, that album was fucking awesome. Evil Dam out of Peru, Necronomicon, that album was sick. Liked that one a lot.
Last Necromantian album.
Yeah, the last Death Hammer album too. The last Atomic Aggressor EP was really great.
Possession.
Yeah, Possession. The especially for me, I mean, there's in Dozerkind or however the fuck you say, the Exorcism-esque album. They had a split with how do you say their name? Venecrucian. It's like venifying the crucifix or whatever. I can't remember exactly how you say it, but I've only read it. I've never heard it out loud. And also their album, aside from Below, a couple years ago, was also really fucking good. French black metal, very thrashy, very evil. But the Possession split with them, the Possession side was Passio Cristo 2 or whatever, was fucking amazing. You don't normally see bands attack the Mother Mary very often, and for some reason I loved that. Anything for you lately other than New Necromantian?
Yeah, I mean, Kill from Sweden, Great Death. What's it called, right?
Death Mass, Devil Mass. Or no, that was the one before the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, they had the EP. But yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy Carl Lowen. What are your thoughts on the future of death metal as a genre? Half bleak and half really good. I don't know.
I think it goes through phases like anything else.
Yeah, it's really high in popularity right now, which is not a bad thing. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, dude, it sucks. All the kids are... No, like, I'm not going to be like that. It's cool when everyone is getting into incantation, like, in immolation or something, like, shit that deserves recognition.
Yeah. Even though there's a ton of generic bands, there's tons of good bands, too, so...
Yeah. And then there's that fast food death metal I was talking about, where they're the kind of the opening band for a lot of tours, and I'll leave it at that. There are a couple of them. But also at the same time, there are a lot of smaller bands that are definitely in the underground keeping shit interesting.
Yeah. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's,
Yeah,
a good
for
spot,
sure.
honestly.
Yeah. Some more good than bad. What plans do you have for the future? Oh shit! I skipped a couple. Can you describe the current death metal scene in Tennessee? That dude talking about Bleak. Not a lot going on here. There are a couple new bands in Nashville. Newer at least, but otherwise you've got us, Process of Suffocation, and Ritual Decay in Memphis.
Brodoquin from Knoxville, brutal death metal. That's probably the most successful death metal band in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very spread out.
Yeah.
It's not so much a scene.
Yeah, there's like a couple bands, like, I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's a pretty good band from Chattanooga right now. There used to be a band in Johnson City called Manic Scum that was really good, but as far as I know, they're defunct. And then one of the other good bands from that area, Cemetery Filth, moved to Atlanta. So it's more regional. Like, there are a couple good bands from northern Alabama, like Defense Wound and Ecto Void. Ecto Void, they're like OG in the area. They've been around for forever, for about as long or longer than Act of Impalement. And they're fucking sick. But yeah, pretty spread out. What's your top favorite death metal album of all time and why? For me, it's Altars of Madness, Morbid Angel, pretty much hands down. I mean, I said earlier about getting into death metal. It started with Hell Awaits Slayer and stuff like that, and to me, Altars of Madness is like the very next most logical step of that progression. It's all of the aggression and hatred just done 100%. And, very fast. Nothing emotional other than just like boiling hatred, and I just love that shit.
Still got the thrash elements too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll always love thrash, and Jerry, I know you're the same way. Thrash is always very important to us.
Yeah. For me, I would say the Deicide, self-titled. I mean, I want to say early Cannibal Corpse, but to me, that album just kind of has everything. It's thrashy, and it's also still like very evil, which Morbid Angel also, which I guess is kind of what carries it on, like makes it like superior to why I would put it as number one. Just yeah, it kind of has everything that I'm looking for in the death metal album.
I mean, talk about the Slayer influence. That probably has it more than Morbid Angel.
Yeah.
But I mean, also Deicide self-titles, very close number 2 for me. So, I mean, we were talking about it before this. It's kind of hard to decide between those two, honestly.
Yeah, just so extreme.
Yeah. What plans do you have for the future of Act of Impalement? We are finishing up a record currently. We've got maybe 2 songs left to do before I'm comfortable with calling it a full length. I mean, it's probably still right at the 30-minute mark, or that's kind of what we're shooting for. I mean, a lot of my favorite albums are about that long anyway. Like the first Niflheim album's 28 minutes. Like Bathory's self-titled. I mean, shit. You take out the intro and the outro, it's probably like 24 minutes or something. So I like keeping things short and sweet. Other than that, trying to hit up some dates on the way to Texas and back in October. And then hopefully just play fests that we were going to go to anyway. That's my main thing. Is I just want to play and get paid for shit I was already gonna go to. Not trying to get famous over here, just trying to save the wallet, I guess.
Yeah, and not spread ourselves too thin, I guess.
Yeah.
A million shows.
Yeah. Although we have a busy month this month. But, yeah, and any message for Death Metal Promotion Channel subscribers? Just keep listening to fucking death metal and throw some black metal in there too, and some thrash and shit. Just keep listening to underground shit. That's pretty much all I've got to say.
Yeah. I'd say the same.
Well, hell yeah. Later, motherfuckers.